Oregon's a tremendous job. It's a top 15 job in the country. But if I had my selection between Oregon or Miami, with not having even the draw or the attachments that Mario Cristobal has to Miami, I'm just talking about. I'm a dude from Ohio. I'm just looking at two programs. Um, as long as the money's comparable or better, and I could get, based on what's happened at Miami the last 15 to 20 years, I could get some reasonable commitment, or they could convince me that they're going to give me what I need to compete, meaning the dollars for the coaching staff, et cetera, and then there's a commitment. As long as I was sold on the commitment and the money was comparable, I wouldn't even think 5 seconds about it.
I mean,
you can recruit so much better to Miami. You've got the competition in the divisions is comparable, so that's kind of a wash. You can go to Miami. The recruiting's so much better. I'd rather live in Miami. And there you go. So I would go to Miami. And then on top of that, of course, he's a Miami guy. So,
and the other thing is, if I would think that the recruiting is going to be better because he recruited at Oregon with a black hole at SC. They were not good. They were not doing anything. They were not. It was Oregon ran the West Coast. They did. Honestly, and I know that SC
had some good recruiting.
They recruited okay, but it was not anything like what we're seeing right now from Lincoln Riley. I don't think. And again, I've talked about this before. There were pipeline schools that were, if you were good at this high school and you were a 4-star, 5-star, you're going to SC.
Sure,
that did not happen. Now they might have gotten a couple of guys from those schools, but it was you build a Elon Musk light rail from the campuses of these schools, zoom, 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 going to South Central to SC before, right? That's not happening. I guarantee Kayvon Thibodeau does not go to Oregon if SC is actually SC. 100%, right? But that's a guy who we're talking about, Penei Sewell. I don't think that he goes to Oregon if SC is SC. So you're talking about some of the top guys that you're talking about in terms of recruiting. I think it's going to be better down here for Mario than it would have continued to be in Oregon. And I don't think that it's crazy. And I get where Oregon people refuse to kind of accept the truth because they want to be. Everybody wants to be the superstar. Nobody wants to be the second backup dancer, really. But you lost your last two coaches to Florida State, top of the list, national brand job. Now, the formation of that program currently is not requisite to the name brand, right, of Florida State. But that is a top 3-5 name brand job. Miami's, okay, maybe not top 3-5, but top 7, top 10 name brand job. Absolutely. And teams in Florida that got your guys up off of there. Willie Taggart's from Bradenton. He grew up as a Florida State fan. Cool. Mario Cristobal's from Miami, went to Miami, won at Miami, played at Miami, coached at Miami. And they were wondering, well, why would he leave? And are you dumb? Are you stupid? It's not a hard concept when you look at it analytically and not through the lens of a fan. And I can fan with the best of them. I do try to be pragmatic in my analysis, and I come on here and I try not to do, but it will come out of me sometimes. If you ever see me at the tailgate when I'm not going into the press box and I'm going into the stands and I'm hanging out and I will fan with everybody as more than y'all. Honestly, because I have this personality and it gets me going. Shout out to Ricky, NWO Podcast. First of all, you should be listening to it if you're not. Second of all, his energy is on a million, and my energy is so much more like his. But I'm not going to just turn that on and overlook other facts of the matter. But it seems like Oregon fans have been doing that recently. And I'm so very sorry that you're an upper second tier kind of a job and like national brand program, but like this U's different. Sorry, that Florida State Spear, when compared to the Oregon O, with all due respect, that Spear hit different too. And there's a couple other ones. And I know you would say, oh, well, if our coach was going to Georgia or Alabama, that would be one thing. I mean, Florida State and Miami were Georgia and Alabama before, I mean, in the recent past, before they were Georgia and Alabama. So having people from this area go to these teams and everything, it is less crazy than Oregon fans think. So that's my soliloquy on that. Take that as you will. Hate me if you want to.
Well, I'm going to push back a little bit. I generally agree, but I'm going to push back a little bit because I take feedback every day and I take calls and all that sort of thing. So I would put different classes of fandom in different categories in regards to, you have your completely delusional fans. Yes.
Yes.
But then you have your reasonable fans who also take great pride in their program. And so you can understand them being a little unreasonable and stretch their brand or their reputation, stretch their accomplishments a little bit. You can understand that they're going to look at their program from a favorable standpoint. And so if I'm an Oregon fan and I'm going to do that and not, again, be unreasonable and say, we're Alabama, we're Ohio State, because you're not, but say over the last 10 years, we did play in 2 national championship games. And when Chip Kelly was there, we did own that conference and own it, like 33-3, own it.
Yeah.
Like be a top 3 team in the country for like 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. And again, come within a chip shot field goal of winning the national championship and then getting back to a national championship game 4 years later. So they've been that close. And there's a very short list of national champions over the course of a decade. Mm-hmm. And now with the Mario Cristobal run, again, getting to the top of the Pac-12 and not being a dominant team in the Pac-12, but being clearly the best team / program in the Pac-12 over the past 4 years, I can understand them taking a sense of pride in that and saying, unless you're named X, Y, Z, and there's only about 5 of them, we shouldn't have to take a back seat to you.
I mean, you can feel that, right?
But you understand where that's a reason. It's an optimistic and favorable viewpoint, but it's realistic.
Okay. It is. But
based on results on the field.
But obviously there's projection for Miami because Miami's been bad, right? But you're going for all these other things. You're not going for a ready-made situation. You have to go make that situation what you want it to be at Miami currently, just like they have to make it what they want it to be at Florida State or in some other places that are not having the on-field success that you would want to have, but leaving for that program, which is not as on-field good currently, right, is not crazy. Because if you're looking at that, and that's going to be the final line, right? That's going to be the final straw. That's going to be the last thing on the list of the conversation. Well, they went 6-7 and we went 10-3. So there's no reason to go over there. That doesn't make any kind of a sense. That's where I'm so sorry that you don't want to see that there are things other than current wins and losses. And again, you're also projecting for Oregon, and this is the unsaid thing, you're projecting that it's going to stay the exact same with SC getting Lincoln Riley and leveling up. And quietly, Chip Kelly, even though it started off very, very badly for him in Westwood, UCLA is not past that. So, in Washington, they're going to do their thing. Like you're saying, okay, they suck and we're good. And that's terminal, right? I've been practicing my Spanish for the secret day job, right? So that's more of a ser versus a star, like a native state of being versus this is how I feel right now, right? Kind of a thing. So you're coming in it with that permanent ser kind of thinking, oh, this is what it is and it will always be that, not a star like, okay, well, we are this right now and this could change. But the projection and I get it because you're arguing your point, but like the counterfactual is true, where yes, you're good now, but other teams are also developing. Also, the main team on the West Coast that can inhibit this massive talent acquisition string that you've been on. But we're going to ignore that and just talk about Miami not winning as many games on the field as we want to have. Like, that's where, even being realistic, you're not necessarily being realistic if there are even reasonable people refusing to bring up or acknowledge those parts of the scenario. You can be willfully ignorant, but that does not mean that I have to be stupid, right? Those things still matter, I think, to the conversation for me.
I'm not discounting anything you just said. I agree with everything you said. I was simply taking the role of the Oregon fan to say I can understand how they would feel that way and it not be completely unreasonable.
Okay. I got you.